Okay, so we're live.
All right.
We'll give it a few minutes for people to start joining us. This is the pre-show for the people who aren't watching us live, who are listening to us later on audio only.
I can't see the wonderful stuff I have behind my head. Then,
right? Is that a new flag?
That's the pirate flag that flew over my house, and on the ship. Then I have my rebel flag from Serenity over here, still doing its thing.
Cool.
And I have my wanted poster because I'm being overly, I like the look of my face. It's pretty good, except my nose is wrong.
Oh no! How will they know it's you?
They somehow do.
Wow, nobody's joined us yet.
We're terrible. We're never going anywhere.
Nobody loves us.
We can't have our podcast with a podcast without people.
I know.
I think my show and tell is in the podcast within the podcast. I have something special tonight.
Well, if nobody's watching this live, if nobody's watching this live, then there's two people all of a sudden, unless one of them's Jack. There's just one person.
I'm not watching at the moment.
Then we got two people. Hello, two people who joined us.
Two people.
Two people.
That's
the show.
That's more than some of my YouTube channel.
Yeah, well, we got 1 more minute before we actually before I actually really start the show. Say hello. Say hello. Hey, it's Vi Sci-Fi.
Hey.
And
We've seen you too.
And Mick.
Hey, Mick.
Oh. Seems like we're just being filled with steampunk. With steam chest lovers today.
Well, good. I knew there was a reason why I asked you to join us.
Whether they stay with us or not,
I knew there was a reason why I asked you to become a co-host because I knew you had somewhat of a base. A little bit more than I had.
It's kind of it's a floundering thing.
But you still more.
You're talking about people, not actual places. Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
People. Yeah, you have more of a listening or people base than I ever had. As myself,
we're growing it. We're here.
I know. Oh yeah.
Well, hey,
I mean, the fact that we got Steampunk Boba Fett and the Necrofessor. I mean, they brought their people too.
Yeah, and then you have what's her name? Oh gosh, the lady who
you mean Nikki?
It keeps arresting me all the time. Yeah.
Our sheriff. Yeah.
I just know her as it's you again. That's
Hello, you.
And Blue Stocking. She always brings a
Blue Stocking. Yep.
Classes the place up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Vi. I feel like I'm in my lounging around the house, smoking jacket. I don't really have a hat to go with that, except my fez. The fez is sometimes hat.
I mean, you don't really want a hat when you're with a cigar. I mean, it's just there's just no reason to have the. I don't know. Maybe there's a smoking hat. Look up a smoking hat.
I feel like the hat would trap the smoke underneath in front of your eyes. Kind of.
Yeah, I don't see many people with a cigar and a hat unless it's like they're outside with a cigar and the hat. I don't really see anyone sitting down inside with a cigar and a hat unless you're like playing cards, I guess. I mean, or it's like a really
right.
Well, it is.
The saloon isn't the same as lounging in your home.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's 8:00. I'm gonna go ahead and do the official intro.
All right.
Hello, you have once again found the Texas Steampunk Connection. We are once again. I said that twice. Anyway, we are broadcasting to you from our various bunkers and airships throughout the multiverse. And once again, we are talking steampunk. You like steampunk? I have steampunk. We have steampunk everywhere. We have steampunk in the left. We have steampunk on the right. We have steampunk coming out our ears. We have so much steampunk. You like steampunk? We've got steampunk. And guess what? We're here to talk about it. But first,
I don't know if we can follow up that opening.
But first, we are doing the podcast within the podcast of What Are You Drinking Now? I am going to go first. I found a beer that I didn't know was canned. It's from Fourth Tap Brewery. We've been to Fourth Tap a few times. I have not been to Fourth Tap in over a year.
Well, I haven't been anywhere in over a year.
Yes. This is called Bat Country.
Ooh.
Cold brew coffee stout. I really liked this beer when it was on tap at Fourth Tap. I did not know they canned it. If they just recently started, good for them because I found it in my HEB, so I bought one and I just had it. Well, let me see if it's as good as I remember.
It's hard to beat fresh, right?
Yes, it is. It is still pretty good. It's nice, smooth, very smooth, creamy taste. There's no bite to it. It's a nice, very, very smooth drink. I like it a lot.
Nice. Does it taste a lot like it does if it was fresh off the tap?
Not as fresh, but still pretty good. I mean,
Okay.
nothing like Thax was saying, nothing can really beat fresh out of the tap.
Yeah, when I was over in Ireland, I had Guinness. Like it was a completely different thing over there than it is.
I
here.
hear that. I've heard
There's
that.
something
Yeah.
about the little nitrogen capsule that they have in ours over here helps, but it's a different animal over there almost.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've never tried it, but I've heard it. If and or when I ever wind up over there, I will definitely try a Guinness out of the tap.
Just,
Yeah. No slurping the slurpees. What was that one movie? Anyways. No wheezing the juice. No wheezing the juice.
Oh, okay. Back to the 80s. Wow. That's,
Yeah. Hey, I'm old. What can I say?
the kids aren't going to get that joke.
Well,
No,
Look
no,
it up,
We'll,
it's
just have,
funny.
we'll have him sit a couple chairs down. We'll have him take a couple chairs over there. That's something I learned that today. Apparently, it means if you're being weird or like off-putting to a group, and the young people want to tell you to like leave, it's like you go fill some chairs over there.
huh.
Huh,
Okay.
that's an interesting way of putting it. Okay,
Rude.
yeah, very
Rude.
rude, very rude. Go a couple chairs down.
Kids.
So
these
anyway,
days.
I definitely recommend Bat Country if you can find it. And if and or when it's safer and best to go, visit Fort Tap. It's here in Austin. Not too hard to find.
Oh, you Bat Country. Why does that sound? We can't stay here. This is Bat Country.
It's
What's that? That's that.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Metric.
Yes,
Metric Boulevard. That's what I was looking for. It's on right on Metric Boulevard. And there's a few other breweries not too far away if you're doing a little brewery tour.
Circle Brewery is right there, and
Yeah.
well, that's the only one that comes to mind. But
But there are several. So anyway, what are you drinking, Thax?
oh, Rita's here with her water. Hello, Rita.
Hello, Rita.
I've got his smoky sweet wine with a side of cherry Diet Pepsi.
Oh,
All right.
where do you pick up cherry Diet Pepsi from?
The
Well, we
cherry
can't
Diet Pepsi for tree. Okay, I got something special tonight. Something special I found on
okay.
the internet. And it starts with tea.
Tea.
Some of this
I
Okay.
love
Earl
the
Grey
HEB
tea. Nothing
organic
special.
tea.
Got it from HEB. I mean, I guess it's good. I don't drink tea, but I was going to give this a shot because I saw this on the internet.
So, all right, with Earl Grey, you want to make sure. All right, do you like strong teas?
Nope.
Like, no.
I mean,
All right, do you drink coffee? I'll put it this way:
yes, I do.
Earl Grey is probably the closest tea to coffee. It is exceedingly strong. So, if it's too much, you will probably want to put a little bit of milk or cream in it.
I've got a better idea.
He's gonna put something else in it, I'm sure.
This is some
Irish
cheap
whiskey.
Irish whiskey.
Now, taste it before you pour that in, because I'm sitting here going, "That's going to be entertaining."
I've tried this already because it takes a little time to set up.
Okay.
I got some fairly cheap Irish whiskey because I wanted to test. I
Mhm.
think if I did this again, I would buy. So this was like $5. If I just bought $5 better whiskey, I'd have been better off. That's okay.
Okay.
Okay, it's a little rough, but that was part of the experiment, right?
Yes.
And what do you expect from cheap Irish whiskey? Right?
I mean, it's all right for what I paid
Yeah.
for it.
To me, cheap, expensive, whatever. It all tastes like burning.
So I took a tea bag of this Earl Grey tea into my roughly 2 fingers of Irish whiskey, let it steep in there for, I tried it for 1 minute, and I tried it for 2 minutes. At 1 minute, it clearly brings down the harshness
Of the
makes
whiskey?
it- of the whiskey.
Okay.
It makes it clearly a more desirable whiskey. At 2
Interesting.
minutes, I can really pick out the orange peel and the black tea and the bergamot. Is that
Bergamot.
oil that is very strongly flavored in the Earl Grey. And
So it's starting to taste more like the tea instead of the whiskey at that point.
well, it's still very whiskey. But
Okay, but you can taste the tea. Okay.
those tea notes are forward enough that I notice, and I'm
Interesting.
not really a connoisseur
I'm
fine
intrigued. I've never thought about using Earl Grey to steep in cheap whiskey.
I will post the video after the show, but I found this on the YouTubes on a channel called Whiskey Tribe,
Oh,
and they do taste tests of a number of different teas in their whiskeys, and it's there are wins and losses, but the black tea, the Earl Grey was their favorite, hands down overall. So I just tried that one.
interesting.
But
Okay.
this worked out so interesting. I could see trying a few others.
You have opened me up to the world of the fact that one of our best teas that we have in our box is the Earl Grey tea from Teapunk Teas, who we run into in Steampunk November all the time.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that might be something.
I wonder if like a Russian caravan would be really good.
Yeah.
We have some of that in the house someplace, but not tonight. Right? It's Earl Grey and
Makes you wonder what else you can stick in your whiskey.
Oh, you only know.
Or where else you can stick the tea bag.
so that
Moving
is
on.
my show and tell tonight. Give this a try with a moderately priced whiskey, and I think you'll be quite pleased.
Yes, I actually am considering now looking at doing some of the Teapunk teas because they got some wonderful flavors, and I know like one of them is their it was a Swiss chocolate with lemon and or blueberry, and if you steep it long and hard enough, it's like the best hot chocolate you've ever had. And yeah,
okay, I can like
that
that.
stuff is
I'm willing,
fantastic, and I recommend
willing to
going
give
to
that
their
a try.
website and buying the big can of it because you're just gonna love it. It's one of their best things they have. Now,
Do you put sugar and milk in it, or just
yes, you can.
Okay, yeah.
But to me, there's enough flavor notes in it that I don't really need the sugar at all. And
Nice.
so, but I mean, I'll put Bailey's in it or something, and it's just like even better. But like, I can see adding some of the whiskey to it just to give it give it a little kick as well for that warmth that you want. I don't know. I haven't found a tea I wouldn't drink from Teapunk Teas, with the sole exception of the one that has peach in it because I'm allergic to peaches. So,
Oh,
Well,
Yeah.
okay, that's reasonable, I guess.
I smell it and it smells.
because you don't like it though.
Like
So on that note, what are you drinking right now?
I am
Joe?
drinking.
Jack.
I am drinking water because
Oh,
it
no.
has been a day, and I ran into a very bad moment when I realized that this was empty.
Oh,
And,
calamity!
Calamity has
What's that bottle?
befallen us.
Buffalo
this was-
Trace. What is
Yeah,
that?
Buffalo Trace. You were right.
His Buffalo Trace bottle is empty, folks. For those of you listening in later.
Yeah, and I drank the beer yesterday that I was going to drink today, and because it was a day.
It's a whole week.
Oh man,
but
today
I'm
I
rehydrating today. So
yeah, I was slightly worried that I wasn't going to get home in time because I got stuck in New Braunfels because there was a car accident in I-35 that shut the whole thing down, and everybody was just trying to get out of New Braunfels. So no matter what direction you drove, there was just traffic not moving. You know, east, west, south, north. No matter where you were going, nobody was going anywhere. So it's like, ugh.
that
So
sucks.
I was stressed out, but I was happy. I made it back in time. I was able to find my beer, and I'm online with you guys. So things are good. So that ends the podcast within the podcast. What are you drinking now? Let's go on. Vice Fi asked us.
Asking us.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where are you going to meet after the vaccine, or are you going to stay remote?
So
we haven't really discussed it, have we?
I don't consider us remote. I mean, we're home.
we're all home. This is home now. We're together. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess the question is, are we going to meet?
Yes.
And transmit?
I mean, the last time we saw each other was
Like transmit together.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, and we never discussed it. We haven't really discussed it. We joked about it a few times, like going to a mini bar. One of those the mini bars you talked about that one time.
Yeah, the mini bars.
We can go to one of those and transmit from, or we can just go to the ghost town and transmit.
I think
they let
Ghost Town really should be our first place. It just
Although I don't think they stay open this late.
oh
Um,
More
I think
would be quiet enough.
But I'm more concerned with what kind of reception they have out there.
Yeah.
That might be a little taxing too. But we should definitely go out there. We should definitely meet out there.
We may
We
have
should
to
meet
do
up.
a recording and then have it or whatever.
A pre-record. Ooh, we haven't done that in a long time.
You do a pre-record if we have to. I got the gear for that.
Well, I got the gear too.
Yeah, we all got the gear. You got the audio. I got the video. We'll be all good.
Yeah, you definitely. I don't have the remote video. Yeah.
I'm glad I asked though, because I'm very excited. If you remember last episode, I was going to get my COVID shot, my first COVID shot, the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
When I got out there, I found out that it was the Johnson & Johnson shot. I'm happy with it. I was happy to take it. So I
chances of it's
protected, and in 2 weeks from then, I'll be fully vaccinated, or as full as it gets, and that's tomorrow. So
nice.
I'm going to get a haircut.
As for me, I got my second Pfizer shot last Friday, so I still have to wait, like a week and a half or so before I'm fully vaccinated. I had a little bit of side effects the next day, like maybe almost 24 hours later. I had a tiny little fever, and my joints kind of hurt. So I slept for about 2.5 hours, and then I just woke up with just a regular headache, no fever, just a headache, and then I was good. So I hear the Modera is the one that has the really bad side effects.
Lex has had some big issues with the shots. She has been down. It's almost like her body decided, she's got it again, and is going through like a enhanced and sped up variant of going through COVID again.
Oof, damn.
And
yeah.
My boss got his second shot yesterday, and he came into the office today. And this man he played professional football for college, and almost went professional after college. So this guy's big. He's big, and his biceps are big enough to like stretch the shirt. And it makes me look terribly pitiful and weak when I'm at work. He's just like, let's do this. And I'm like, sure. But he came in and he looked like the tiniest person. His shoulders were hunched down like that. He just like, there was no energy in this man.
Do you know what he got? Pfeiffer or Modera?
I think he got the Pfi one.
Okay.
I think he got Pfizer. But
yeah,
I don't think it matters which one you get.
That one
if your body is not prepared, if it's not prepared for the virus, and the virus would hit you really hard, I think the vaccine hits you harder.
Well, another thing that's been said is people who have issues with having an overactive immune system, it goes nuts on this stuff. And so if you've had it previous and your body's like, oh, hell no, and just spazzes out like a hunting dog with a scent but can't find the thing it's after, it's just on alert at ridiculous. Your body just like, nope, we're going through it. Where we were sick, we are going to take it to 11, and it seems to be that way for some people. So I'm sitting here kind of like, I haven't got it yet. I need to get it, but damn, it sounds like it's gonna.
So Jack, you haven't got the shot yet?
No, not yet.
In town, they're not even taking appointments anymore. You just go in.
You get
in line, and you get it, which I think is great. They should have been doing that from the start, because that whole jockeying for appointments thing was.
Yeah, that was insane. Yeah, that was crazy. But where do you know where you just go get in line and walk in, or walk in and get in line? Can't just be anywhere.
The Dell Diamond.
Oh, okay.
Had them. That wasn't the only place, but I'm not really looking anymore. But
yeah, well, neither am I. But I'm just curious for anybody listening in Austin who may want to know. But Dell Diamond, look up the Dell Diamond, see what they're doing out there. Don't. So that was a good question. We haven't really discussed it, but we'll think about it in a couple of weeks. I'll be fully vaccinated. Actually, next broadcast on May 4th is the day after my birthday.
Free Comic Day.
Free Comic Day.
It used to be. Well, the weekend, May, like the first Friday in May used to be Free Comic Day. I don't know if they're still going to do it this year. They didn't do it last year because of COVID.
Yeah.
And they kind of spread it out last year. They kind of like gave out a few free comics, a couple days a month or whatever. I don't know what they're going to do this year. I haven't heard anything about it. But anyway, so if there is a small possibility that I may not be able to broadcast because I'll either be off doing something else for my birthday,
Okay. Well,
or
what day was it?
as far as I know, I don't have any plans. What's that?
Which day was it again? You said
May 4th. That's our next broadcast day. May 3rd is my birthday. So
May 4th. Be with you.
yeah, May the 4th be with you. Yeah, that's Star Wars Day.
I have another date on that as well. There's something else.
Never mind that. It's 420 today.
Indeed.
Yeah, today was the day of marinara. Big marinara day today.
Yeah, that's what we'll call. That's what we'll say.
Yeah. Got to keep it friendly on the internet here with that. Sometimes I've seen some people kicked off YouTube recently for less. So
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah, I've heard. So okay, so let's move on. What should we do first? Do we want to talk about? Well, that might take a little while. Let's ask a quick question here. People watching, I've seen 2 episodes of the Nevers. Do you want me to talk about them, or should we? I'm thinking we should wait till all 3 of us have seen all of them, and then we can just discuss it in length at one time. Let me know. If not, I do have something that I can show you guys. I'll do that. I'll do this. Okay, no reactions so far. All right, no worries. So Jules Verne, we have heard of Jules Verne many times. I read one of his books, The 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea. He's been somewhat proclaimed as a steampunker. Well, beginning of steampunk. I think he's like part of the beginning of steampunk because he was writing science fiction back in the actual Victorian times.
Yeah, so it's like original Victorian science fiction.
Right, before they even knew it was steampunk. Yeah. He was
writing steampunk before it was cool.
Well, before he even knew what steampunk was. As far as he knew, he was writing novels. He was writing books,
science fiction, yeah,
possibly science fiction. He was writing science fiction, and of course, as we sort of define steampunk as Victorian science fiction, I think he's steampunk. So he was proto steampunk. Yeah. So anyway, so I saw this comic of another book he wrote, or maybe it's a short story. It's called. I will share the video. I will share the screen once again. Trying to figure out what we're doing. Okay, Jules Verne's Lighthouse.
Ooh,
It is a comic book. However, because it's Jules Verne, Jules Verne, I figured I'll give it a try. I'll read it. It's a good story, but it has been completely reimagined, as I say, as of pure straight up science fiction. Okay.
Spaceships and everything.
Yeah. Yes. They are in a space station on the edge of like a black hole, and as the lighthouse, they are steering other ships around and away from the black hole. Okay.
Wait a minute. No, go ahead. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so. And so I mean the story starts off, there's pirates attack and they take over the lighthouse, and that's as far as there's only one out. It came out last week. Number 1 started last week. I liked it. It was a good story, but technically it's not steampunk, even though it has Jules Verne's name on it. It is pure modern day science fiction is what it is right now. This interpretation of it anyway. I'll read this for the people who are not watching, people who are listening later on. Imprint, Shadowline. It's an Image comic. So at the edge of the galaxy, there's a giant supercomputer known as the Lighthouse, the only brain powerful enough to navigate ships through a Saragossa of natural occurring wormholes. Okay, wormholes, not black holes. Potentially cutting months of or even years off a spaceship's journey. 3 humans, 1 aliens, and a nanny bot have manned the remote station for years in relative peace until the arrival of Captain Congre and his band of cutthroat pirates threatens the future of civilization and reveals that each of the lighthouse crew has been hiding a shocking secret. He who controls the lighthouse controls the part of the galaxy.
Wait a minute.
From the team that brought you The Marked and Sonata comes this double-sized sci-fi thriller set in the high seas of space, based on the work of master storyteller Jules Verne. The art is really good, though.
It looks good.
That's not even the cover I have. That number 1 right there.
Mm-hmm.
The cover I have. I will stop sharing this. Stop sharing. The cover I have looks really cool too. I don't know.
Ooh, I almost like that one better, actually.
Yeah, this one looked a little bit more steampunk on the cover, just cover wise.
Very compelling. Yeah.
Huh.
But like I said, it is straight up science fiction. It's not. It's a really good story. I really enjoyed it. But if you're hoping for steampunk, that's not steampunk. It's just straight up sci-fi. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But we are a steampunk podcast. However, I think, but part of my mission statement is basically, we read it or look at it and we determine whether or not it's sci-fi or steampunk. I mean, and well, I've determined this is not steampunk. So there you go. But it's still good.
Apparently, as I'm poking around the internet, this must be based on The Lighthouse at the End of the World.
Yes, that's the one.
Is an adventure novel from French author Jules Verne. I'm reading from Wikipedia. Verne wrote the first draft in 1901, and it was published posthumously in 1905, so he'd already passed away.
Oh,
The plot of the novel involves piracy in the South Atlantic during the mid-19th century, with a theme of, so that's mid-19th century, that's into the future for him, right?
Yeah.
With a theme of survival in extreme circumstances and events centering on an isolated lighthouse. Verne was inspired by the real lighthouse at the Isle de los Estados, Argentina, near Tierra del Fuego and Cape Horn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's got to be really interesting. They've just kind of taken that plot and reseeded it in space. In space, right?
Yeah. With robots and laser guns and whatnot.
I mean,
and
honestly,
that could still be
aliens.
steampunk. I'm not saying this one is, but
doesn't any good story can transcend the setting. Dune is a very good example of that. It's essentially the medieval era, but in space.
Mm-hmm.
Star
Agreed.
Wars is just a drama. You could remove the spaceships and the sword and the laser swords and just replace it with horsemen and regular swords.
Star Trek was wagon train in the stars.
Exactly. Lewis and Clark kind of things.
Yeah.
Good stories aren't stuck to the technology in which it's there. Now, if you can write a story where the technology gives an awesome spice to the world, then it's great. Like Dune is obviously a book written about oil, and so it's one of those that you can tweak it to make it fit your setting better. Mm-hmm. And it's really cool. I like messing around with
basically it's just a change of the skin, the aesthetic. It's not, they didn't put the aesthetic of steampunk on it, with gears and brass and all that kind of stuff. It's just straight up, sci-fi.
Yeah,
which is fine. I love sci-fi, but since it had Jules Verne's name on it, I had to double check to make sure, how close is it?
What is this?
Yeah,
exactly.
And there you go. And as for Vi Sci-Fi, yes, I have talked about Lady Mechanica before in the past, and I love that comic. It is beautifully drawn. The art in it is awesome. The storytelling is fun. And she's almost like a combination of Sherlock Holmes adventurer. She's mixed. She's a mix. She's not exactly Sherlock Holmes, but she's a very adventurous kind of girl. Kind of Indiana Jones-ish as well, depending on the story she's in. But like I met the artist and got most of those comics that I have that he has autographed by him, and he's a really good guy. The art is beautiful as well. I love it. It's pretty close to being one of the best steampunk out there, comic wise. For those who don't know, Lady Mechanica, she is a female who has I guess in modern day terms she'd be a cyborg essentially, but she has with a steampunk twist.
I like it.
But I'll show some art next time, or you can look her up, Lady Mechanica. But anyway, so that was my homework. So which one do you guys want to go next? I don't know.
Well, I don't think either of us have homework.
I will go next because John Strangeway came in clutch for me and has sent me something. Nice. So
yes, you mean steampunk Bubba? You mean steampunk Bubba Fett?
Oh yeah, well, among other of his major works that he has done. If you go to his page, he's been posting.
Yes, I know he's a big cosplayer. I understand.
We all have to do that though.
Yeah.
He's obviously steampunk Bubba Fett. And every time someone sees him, it's like that. It's like, Han Solo wielding the thing, being half blind. Boba Fett,
Right.
But yeah. So he plays a lot of great things and other wonderful costumes he has made, and the people that work with him for that. But he sent me a that's the wrong link. Get it yet? There it is. Yes, no, give it to me. Leave page. There we are. All right, I think I am ready now to share my page. Screen. Where's the button? There
We're professionals, people.
Share
no, we're not professionals. We don't get paid for this.
Share screen. Give.
I'm not seeing anything.
There we go. It had a lot of buttons.
There it is. All right, let me add it to the stream.
So apparently, on the 24th of April 24th, that's a Saturday, we're having the Victorian Vulgarities, or How to Curse in the Queen's Realm, live on Facebook. That sounds like fun.
Yes, I know. He's a big. Hello?
Hello? That was weird.
It's probably my fault. Sorry.
Okay.
He's a big. What? Vulgarian?
Vulgarities. So, yeah.
Well, you have to read it for the people who aren't watching us.
Victorian Vulgarities, or How to Curse in the Queen's Realm. 10 p.m. Saturday, April 24th, 2021. And it's a Facebook. There's a Facebook link, and we'll be posting it on the Texas Steampunk Connection. And yeah,
Man.
So
I mean, you said on the 24th.
It's
wow. I got to put this out on the podcast feed like pretty fast now. Jeez.
Yeah, that's the 4 days from now. You really got it. Yeah, both it. I'm pretty sure probably there will be somewhere where you can find this afterwards. I would assume. So, but yeah, that's my what I got here. He wanted me to throw that out there. I threw it out there for him.
Sure, perfect. That's what we look for. That kind of stuff. Awesome.
He shall be. Let's see here. He shall be a part of this, and he's shaped like a pear, apparently. I don't take any responsibility for who comments or what they comment in our comment section.
Well, he's commenting about himself, so. But he accepts it, so no big deal.
So shall we move forward then?
We shall move
let us move forward. You had a topic you wish to engage in.
Yes.
Right. I don't really have a show and tell, but I got, how the kids say, DM'd this week by one of our listeners, Suko Sage, who is not even listening, I don't think, but maybe she'll catch up in later. But she asked for us to cover this topic. She says, I'm gonna just pick bits out of our conversation. I've been beating around this idea in my head. An almost steampunk character builder workshop, or how to flex the character for a LARPing scenario. So she's trying to figure out, what's a good way to build a steampunk character for LARPing, or for taking on a personage of, in the way that we do.
This is like what every steampunk guy and girl like to talk about, ourselves.
It's funny because I feel like Flavio and myself and Erica, who's in the room with me, we don't have very good
personas, characters,
characters for ourselves. We've done what Suko calls Mary Suing, which I take to mean just slapping a name and a hat on who we are already. Because
we really didn't even change our names that much, really.
I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you're enjoying the steampunk lifestyle, and you don't feel particularly need to create a backstory for yourself. So I don't know that we're the best to talk about this, but we have LARPed before, and we have made LARP characters for ourselves.
I think I talked about my first experience running across steampunk LARPers at the first convention we went to, and they did not leave a good impression, I shall say.
I have LARPed a little bit, and I've been mainly because I was part of the storyline, so I was an NPC that had to help push the story along.
I would much rather be an NPC than actually play at this point.
I mean, it's the same thing though, because I wasn't like right. Lex and I, we run the criminal underground of our perspective part of the world, and so everyone else at the time when people were basically doing this, we're like, oh, we're all gonna be steamship captains. This will be great. We're gonna be airship captains. Everyone's gonna be a captain. Every meeting we went to was, hey, captain. Well, hi, captain. Hi, captain.
everybody's a captain, right?
Yeah. And so I'm just like, well, I mean, sure, that's cool. I want a ship because I like having the freedom that the ship brings me. And I did fight for the captain title. You are right. I even have my wings running around here somewhere. But but it was one of those things that we all saw real quick that it was just everyone wanted to be the captain. So and that was actually one reason that literally Lex and I have come up with this whole thing. We're co-captains of the same ship. And so it makes it where it's funny because of running Steam Chest at the table became one of those things of who was at the table was the one that got made the decisions. And so that's kind of how we've kind of batoned it back, into our characters playing from a real world perspective. And so we're doing panels even. It's just kind of the moment, especially like this moment in time, right now, when I'm running out of things to talk about, she would step in and take over. And so it's actually one of the things that really kind of help build our characters in that perspective.
Yeah, I think go ahead.
One of the things I've seen in exactly the situation you're talking about, and I've read other people suggesting the same. When everyone wants to be a captain, if you want to stand out, if you want your character to stand out, the last thing you want to do is be a captain.
Yeah.
Find another way to be the character you want to, and if you want to hold a position on the pirate ship or what have you, you'll look at other actual positions that pirate ships had. Be the quartermaster. Mm-hmm. Then you're in charge of the food and the money.
Which is even more fun.
Hits port, the captain is not in charge anymore.
Yep.
You are, because you're paying everyone out.
Yep.
So you are. I mean, if you just call yourself quartermaster, and suddenly you still get to play that sort of role, but you're different.
Well, that's what it kind of came out with, because we were part of a ship called the Coyote's Fortune, and it kind of had its own. It's kind of met its own bitter end. It's in its own thralls of the captaincy moving around, depending, because the main character who was the captain of it says, "As long as I'm wearing this armor, I'm captain," and then it proceeds to get knocked over the head. And now the medic of the group, which medic is a very loose term, staple guns and shoelace threads for some Frankenstein stuff going on there for wound care, is now wearing the armor, so she's now the captain of this very unique ship. So I like it where it's able to maneuver around, because my character is not really a captain anymore. He is very much I foresee myself as a gangster as much as I can. I find myself more or less in that gray villainy area of, gee, I'm not going to just plow through a bus full of orphans for the sake of it. And honestly, my morals, there's no ethical or moral reason to do so. Even with a lot of money, I'm not going to do that. That's finally one of those things. If you ask yourself as you're building these characters, what your character would and would not do, and you really start finding out kind of the boundaries of your character. The other ones are finding out what is your character bad at, all your little flaws. And I really think that building your character from your flaws first is fun, because you get to say things like this: "They gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. Money." So the character really builds itself pretty quickly there from a very stereotypical point, and then you just kind of fill it in with your spin on it, which makes it yours.
I think back when we started, I mean, we realized, yes, everybody wanted to be the captain, and we decided having a ship, that sounds like work.
That's a job. I didn't come here to do a job.
Exactly. Where's the drinks?
Where's the tourists?
Yeah, no, that was the whole thing with Steam Chest, is it was a job, and it's a ship, and it's it's busy. So it's like running a ship at a convention, something I'm paying to go to have fun.
Right. Yeah. So we decided, we're not going to have our own ship. We're just tourists. We wander onto other people's ships. We'll drink. We'll have fun. We'll talk. We'll move on, kind of thing. It's like we go where the drinks are. Essentially, is how I say.
Oh, that'd be so much. That you would be so much fun to have on like a video thing. Like just, I've always wanted to do more videography when it comes to the steampunk stuff, and do
I'm in.
little storylines of.
I'll do whatever. I'm in. That's good.
And literally, it seems like your two characters would be like the old grumpy Muppets. just
drunk
for like a couple seconds to give your one or two liners that are awesome, and then just you'd see in the background again over there. But,
I mean, because I used to joke like, we wander onto a ship, we ride around, we don't know where we're going, we don't care where we're going. Oh wait, your bar's out of drink. You don't have any more liquor. It's nice to meet you guys. We're out of here.
We're done.
Kind of thing,
Drink you at a house and home and leave. Thanks. Bye.
But I mean. But I don't really. But I mean, we're not really drunks. We don't drink that much, really. But I mean, not as much as my character does. So that's the most role playing I do. Is I pretend I'm a little bit more drunk than I am.
I'm really good at pretending to be drunk.
Yes, by drinking.
It helps when I drink when I'm playing to be drunk.
I mean, because when we also created the Roosevelt Adventuring Society is what we call ourselves. And when we go on an adventure, we go like, hey, we're going to go here. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Come join us. Have fun with us. Meet us. We're going to be dressed up. Meet us there. Not very many people took us up on that, but we had fun. I mean, like we went to, like I said, I think we told the story before. We went to a balloon festival. We were all dressed up and fancy, and people loved us there. We walked into the VIP area, and no one questioned us one bit.
These guys are obviously paying the premium package.
Suku, I'm so glad you're here because this is what you wanted to talk about. So I'm glad you've tuned in. Flavio, you bring up a great suggestion that I'd read, and Suko sort of hinted at it too. If you don't have a character and you just want to get started, one suggestion was to take a flaw, take no,
that was Jack that brought that
advantage, and then crank it up to 11, and that is your entire character until you fill in the rest, and use that to interject yourself into other people's business or what have you. Being drunks, that's all you need to be sometimes.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. You need to use your imagination and you do a little brainstorming, but just grab onto one thing and run with it.
And that was the whole thing about everyone being captains, is it was like walking into a room full of, what was the captain from Futurama?
Actually, what came to my mind was the Captain Morgan commercial where they walk into a bar, Captain. It's like
Zach Brannigan. That's right.
Oh, Zach Brannigan.
And that's how I felt at some of those conventions. Is like everyone's a captain. I'm just like, yeah, there's a whole bunch of sarcastic people here. And I look at myself going, wait, I'm dressed up too. But I looked around going, there's a lot of pirates and there's a lot of pirate hunters, and then there's the police guy, and there were the police group of people. Like, there's not really good, like, just not like, we have villains, we have mad scientists, shout out to Scott, and but we don't have any like the grease guys in the between, the ones that move things around, and like, we got smugglers, but that's not the guy above the smuggler. We need
for the adventuring ne'er-do-well drunks like us.
Exactly. Like, where you guys end up, and I'm like, what am I going to do with you guys? You're drinking all my beer.
But we're rich.
That's your beer. I'm so sorry.
Why'd you leave it out in the open like that?
Your wallets, gentlemen. I will let you freely drink from these casks.
Oh, cash.
Today, maybe.
Cash? You mean my? Oh, that's just my change.
And I have your Ethereum. We'll put it that way. I'll take your Bitcoin.
Suko says, "Too many egos in a room" is what I call it.
Yeah,
and,
I've seen a lot of that.
Let's go back to what Flavio was talking about. When we first we went to a convention, and we went to a panel, and up at the stage, the panel was talking about character building, and mostly they were going on and on about their own characters. Which was dull. And the fact that they were evil and bad guys. And what really got me, and Flavio too, because he remembers.
Mhm.
They said, if we're mean to you or rude to you or
In
nasty
public.
to you, don't blame us. It's our character.
Mm.
And you know what? That's a problem. That
Yes.
is not how to make a character. That's how to be a butthole and using characters as an excuse.
And that's how you scare off new players
Mhm.
who are interested.
We weren't particularly interested in talking to them after that.
Exactly. Because I had run across them before that panel. I run across somebody in that panel before the panel started, and I think they were talking to like a handful of people. And when I asked what was happening, yeah, they were rude. They didn't explain to me that, yeah, we're LARPing. This is a scene that we're showing off or doing,
Yeah.
we're walking through a scene,
Yeah, if it's a scene, that's one thing, because I've done that when I've had.
Well, I mean, I didn't interrupt the scene.
Yeah.
I waited till they finished, and talked to the person who was talking to everybody,
Right. When building your character, you have to consider how you're going to interact with other people.
Mhm.
If you're building a character that's sullen and moody and is going to hide in the corner, you're not going to have any fun because nobody's going to be able to talk to you.
Yep.
If your character is shy and quiet and doesn't talk to people, you're not going to have any fun. And if you're making a character who's a complete butthole to everyone, butthole is the word of the day. They're not going to have any fun talking to you. You probably aren't going to have any fun either, probably. So make your character either likable or tolerable.
or useful.
Yeah, give them reasons why they have to talk to other people.
So a good example of this, I don't know if any of you've seen this TV show, but The Blacklist. All the characters in the
love that
Blacklist
TV show.
have this weird, like, they have to work together. And if you really look at like Raymond Reddington working with the guy who works at the DMV,
Yeah.
that to me is how I feel at a lot of conventions, because I'll have characters walk up to me. They know they have to deal with me because I'm the one guy who has what he wants. And I'm just sitting here being this dude going, I would love a sandwich. Just like, just being obnoxious about him. But in the end, I do it. And and it all works out. But, it's one of those things I'm a minor irritant to work with in many ways. And but I was watching that show thinking about it the other day going, all these characters are very stereotypical. And they're very well written for being stereotypical. Because it's all based around Raymond Reddington, which is the Enigma character. So you got to have them all dropping the one line that he can sit there and key off of. But even then, by themselves, it works.
I feel like if we're going to use that as an example, and you were making a character, Raymond Reddington is the worst character for you to make.
Yes,
but because he in his mind, in your character's mind, he knows everything. He's got all the power and the influence, and people have to come to him with problems. So, and in real life, people aren't going to come to you.
The problem
you're going to need to find a motivation to go to other people.
Yeah, the problem with his character is that he needs the plot to work a certain way for it to work. And that is the key about having a criminal character is like, well, I may know some people. Well, I don't have like 50 people who are working with me at a convention to pull off make it look like this during an event. So either it's written for me to do it in the plot where I can get away with it a certain way, or there is a certain, like, being the bad guy in a LARP is, yes, I have to be able to, I have a lot of plot armor around me, and I have a higher dice roll or whatever you want to call it by the game master to let me.
Or if you're the NPC, then you can say you know a lot of people, but then you only have to send them to the one person that you do have working in the game.
There's a whole lot of plot that works with Raymond Reddington to do that, because he's got to have all the stuff he's got to have like 50 aces in the hole he can pull from strings. Mm-hmm. And that's actually one reason the storyline's getting pretty good now, is because he's running out of them. But as a character that plays a lot like him in the world, I have to, it doesn't really work unless you can't control every situation. And that's how Raymond Reddington does it, is he controls every situation. That's one reason I decide I don't mind if I get locked up. Half the time I would rather be locked up because it's safer. And so, and I get to pick on the guy who I wanted to pick on to begin with at the convention. So
I think that makes it fun. I mean, watching you or watching someone who's trying to play a Raymond Reddington but fumbling.
Yes.
That's entertaining.
Yeah. But in the end, I still walk away with everything. I'm just not as smooth about it. And so that's also the fun part about it. Okay, I say I walk away with everything. But like so far, I've pulled off walking away with everything because I have a pickpocketer who's like 7 years old now who goes to us with these things. And every time we play LARPs, he runs around stealing people's money or whatever the object is I need him to steal. No one's watching Lex as she's really being the mastermind, pulling off everything in the background because everyone's looking at this guy. So,
that's like a Smokey and the Bandit situation. It's like you have the bandit out there drawing out the or drawing attention to himself while
I'm literally like look at me, and then no one's paying attention to Lex, and she's better at not having anyone pay attention to her. And so I'm just over here being stupid. And out in the open.
You want someone who can be ignored? I can be ignored. People don't pay attention to me at all.
Well,
why do you think I'm shouting into the void here? Okay, but.
Okay, back. We've been missing some of the comments I wanted to hit on. Vi Sci-Fi said something about my trouble does new attire equal a new persona or just the same persona with new duds? It depends. I know a couple people who have 5 different costumes for 5 different characters, or it's one character with 5 different costumes.
That's me.
Mine, I've tried to change mine up a bit. I'm still playing myself. And honestly, here's the other thing. If I was going to a Star Wars convention, I would change it up just enough to where my character is just a, running around being a smuggler in Star Wars. I would wear probably the same hat. I'd probably change out the goggles a little bit or take off some of my stuff that's overly steampunk and put on some, piecemeal stormtrooper armor or something of the right color. I'm just transferring the character to different clothes. That's how I roll. Now,
I feel like when Flavia and I played in LARP games,
a few of them,
our characters had basically 1 or 2 costumes, and then we had other characters that we were able to jump into that would have very different costumes.
Yeah.
Whereas in Steampunk, for us, it's not so much LARPing. It's
although we have attempted some steampunk LARPs
and enjoying the steampunk lifestyle as ourselves.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
There's not another character to jump into, which makes it, I think, as Suko gets into, it makes the ego more important. You're not going to take on another character in this game. You are you.
You're just a little more you.
Right. You're playing up the parts of you want to develop, I guess. And so your character becomes much more important for you. In LARP, characters run a story, and eventually they die, or they retire, or they go away, and you take on a different character.
Screw you! I'm never dying.
And so, it really isn't. It hopefully, Flavio, Thax, and Jack are not going to die in the steampunk community anytime soon,
or get excommunicated.
Well, excommunication is a different version of death.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll have our steampunk cred taken from us as it's been threatened to us one time or another.
I sell those cards. I can get you another one.
Hey, I have my steampunk cred on my vest. Thank you.
There you go. See, I mean,
quite.
The one thing I like about steampunk, and it's very much like the Marvel Universe, there's always a way to bring your character back. And honestly, to me, I've seen it done to where it's been better because of it. One of our characters is a cryptozoologist, and he messes with like an elder god. Well, it takes him over and like rips his basically like he's fighting it off as an infection for a while, and it's starting to like literally like bulge out and become itself out of him. And so at one point in time, there was a storyline we did where this was all like written and whatnot. And it's kind of funny. So it's like weirdly thinking back like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years now. You have a different steampunk background than we do. It's a playful thing. We have characters. We don't really LARP with rules the way everyone's thinks
But you're
it's storytelling.
telling a story
Yeah.
amongst yourselves. It's interactive storytelling. So
And-
that's LARP.
Yeah, and the characters, like, we all had to come out of it alive, mostly. He died, kind of, and now he's like a more rugged, harder version of himself. The characters changed. It's not like just what happens next Saturday cartoon with the same characters. It's the characters do develop along, and so I do know people who it's now almost as ridiculous to ask them about their history because it's starting to turn into like a novella, a telenovela. Where everyone's done everything and everyone's been with everybody, and it's now just.
I mean, okay. I mean, with the thing with the LARP though is when I think LARP, it's storytelling, yes, but then it comes down to how do you resolve conflict? Like if you guys get into a fight, how do you resolve the conflict? Is what rules are there? Like there's a couple steampunk LARPs I went to not recently, but we actually used Nerf guns
4 times.
And the Nerf guns, you shot somebody, and sometimes you had armor, sometimes you didn't, but the actual shooting at each other with the Nerf guns was actual, it was real. You either miss or you hit, kind of thing, but there's other things like you said, pickpocketing. How do you resolve a successful pickpocket kind of thing, or do you actually have to physically know how to pickpocket kind of, that's what a LARP is. You have to come up with some kind of conflict resolution.
The way we've done it. Sorry, go on.
Well, I'm guessing the way you've done it is your group. The goal isn't to win; it's to tell a story.
Yes.
So the person who's being pickpocketed, the player agrees to have been pickpocketed because that makes the story go, and that's okay. Which is really different than
it is. It's very less. It's not. I would not even consider. It's more like how to host a mystery kind of thing, but even then, it's completely different from that because we do have one of the characters running around being the game master, but he's also a character, but he's an NPC that's driving the story from a perspective. He was the police officer. I was the criminal / gray not villain, but I was putting on a casino on a steamship that was porting from one dimension to another. So we were having a gambling table. It's essentially Maverick, the movie, is what we were doing. And so, but I was the one that was running the event, and my creditors were there to take my money from the event as much as I was, taking from the winnings from being the host. And so I had to dodge my creditors, which were players. I had to dodge the guy who wins all the money and steal all the money. And there was also a silent auction going on of things that were going on. There was a lot of things going on. And
where was this happening? At a convention?
This was at a convention. It was.
Okay. Was it like just separately throughout the convention, or in a single room, or a couple of rooms? I mean, how did you determine where the action happened?
It was in a panel room. It was a fairly large panel room. There at the in Finicon, and so it is one of their larger rooms. I would say it's actually 2 panel rooms put together. It's fairly decently large, but not a ballroom. And so we had about 30 people, and we actually had it set up to where if you came in, we gave you a sheet of paper, and it was, here's your character, and here is here's your goal.
Okay. That's more structured. I like that. With a goal in mind, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. If you came in and you had a character, you could take the goal at it. We actually had a couple of people who were very new, had we literally signed them and gave them their first airship, not diploma, but ownership, and all the paperwork therein, and we all signed it for them and whatnot, made it all official. So their characters, when they came in, they were trying to make enough money to buy the airship. And so they had the engineer, the captain, and the first officer, yada yada yada. So they were trying to go
that makes more sense. Having people, you give people a character or the goals and whatnot. That works out. But a lot of stuff I've run into is kind of free form and just chaotic.
And this was very free form, but it was fairly.
But everybody had goals. At least you gave them a goal.
Yeah. So they're playing card games for real, printed money, and so they're trying to gather that up.
Yeah, I went to a D&D LARP that had that. Yeah. Basically, they gave me a character sheet. They gave me goals, and they had a town set up in a big room. Every table was a different building kind of thing. And yeah, it worked great. That was perfect. But then there's other LARPs that are less structured, I guess.
Yeah, combat's hard. And that was the one thing we tried to get away from was combat, because as much as everyone loves it, it's rough. And
Yes.
so we tried to do social combat, which is how we had it. And it was more or less like we put people in situations where they would have to choose to do things like steal or whatnot. And we told people like, all right, so all this fake money, it doesn't leave, it's one of those things that if you lose it, you lose it. People can grab it. People can take it from you. Just keep your hands on it. And so it wasn't a big deal. Any of the items that we wanted to have stolen, like we were doing an art auction one time, and the person who was the person who's putting on the art auction dies. Like the lights go out, they're on the ground. It's literally now how to host a murder.
Nice.
So we're all trying to figure out how this person died, and it turned really funny because it turned out no one really cared that she died, and this woman's on the ground for like 45 minutes dead, acting. And everyone's just trying to figure out how to like steal the stuff and like hide it. The whole game, and the police officer in the room is doing nothing but like put it back, and I'm sitting there like gambling. I needed certain items myself as an NPC, so I was giving missions to people like I need the gun. That gun, it was a special gun. Like we went over all the things; they all had names and whatnot. So I needed like the Lassiter and this and that. I had like my goal of winning, and people who worked with me to win would get goals. That I was basically a quest giver at that point. And so I actually was running around not stealing a thing, but everyone's like, he stole it because he's a bad guy. I'm like, I'm not a bad guy. Anyway, it was fun. And that's where my kid was running around pickpocketing people from our ridiculously large cash that we had. So it was fun. And that was a way of having it to where it wasn't like, all right, roll for initiative. And
right. Speaking of that, it's like that one LARP I talked about a minute ago. When it came down to combat, it was indeed what I liked about it. Seriously, when it came to combat, then we went down to the miniatures and we put them on the table, and that's when the dice rolled to resolve that combat. Because you got your stats, your character stats. And so there was no people flinging around. Same thing with pickpockets. If you want to pick somebody's pocket, you just have to like shake their hand or put your hand on their shoulder and then call a GM, say I'm trying to pick his pocket, and then we roll a die real quick and realize.
It stops the interactions that way.
Slightly, but they were pretty quick. It worked really well the way they did.
You have to figure out a way to make that fast. And the guy who we were working for a while, he actually had a deck of cards instead of carrying around.
That works too.
Dice.
I've been
just like up, you get it, you got king, whatever, and it's a number.
Yep.
And we did a combat that way, where we were actually shooting people down a hallway, and it was one of the best events ever because it was the nerf thing where we were all taking, we were all one character on the board. There was like 30 of us, and we're shooting at these people who kidnapped steampunk Santa Claus, and so we're trying to shoot these like ever regenerating zombie like people that were shooting back at us, and we're just one guy threw a grenade. It bounced back at us, took out a bunch of us. We're laying all over the ground. I decided to pick up like a big gun from my friend and start going off with it. And apparently I was not proficient in it. And so it exploded. And I ended up just deciding, the long short of it, I did a really cool, funny thing was I threw, there was a grenade. It was smoky. I couldn't see. And they're about to get away. And we're about to lose. So I'm just
right. I think we've drifted off target. We're off topic. I mean, we were supposed to talk about character creation, not actually LARPs. I mean, or
a lot of people, and that was the thing is that a lot of people want to do the character thing with the LARPs.
Yeah,
but character creation, I don't know.
Character creation has never been my favorite in any game, even like tabletop games. The character creation part is the most tedious, boring for me.
I want to bring this up before because we're running out of time here, but still within character creation, there is a game that I only played once, but it impressed me so much. It's not a LARP, but it becomes a LARP by accident. This game is called Fiasco.
Oh, I played that. That was fun.
Game. I think you played it with me.
Yes, that was fun.
And like the first half of the game is building your characters, of course, but you're already playing the game by establishing. There are no statistics, no attributes.
Yeah,
what your character is completely how you relate to the other characters at the table.
And you only interact with the ones to your left and right, to your immediate left and right, essentially.
Right. So the person to your right, there's an object, and you relate to that object and how it relates to them. And like Flavio has a pet fish that I sold him last year, and if that fish ever dies, I will hate him. And that is my character. How it relates to Flavio.
Yeah, it was very similar like that. It was funny.
The beginning of the game is just making up these things. How you relate to the person to your right and left with these objects, and then somehow plot begins and the story is told around the table. Each person becomes the DM for other people.
Yeah, and then there's ways you can interrupt and add a complication to their storyline or something like that.
I honestly never understood the mechanics of the game, but I had so much fun.
Yeah.
What happens as the plots get thicker and more involved, you find yourself getting out of the table.
Yeah, standing up and talking and yelling
with the person that you have to role play it with. And it's awesome, and it's a great exercise for how to create a character sort of on the fly.
Yeah, Fiasco is great. I think because it's called Fiasco, the end point of the game, nobody has a happy ending.
No, it's all bad.
So would you say that it might be fun to play like a 20-minute round of that next episode?
No, it's gonna take more than 20 minutes.
We could do that.
There's only 3 of us.
I mean, well, if we could get a 4th.
It might be something to sit down at a table and play off camera and then talk about later.
Or record it. We'll just sit down. We'll sit down and play and record it while we're playing, just ignoring the camera completely. Just have the camera running, and then I don't know, editing skills and talk about it later, kind of thing. We can do that, yeah. Because there's different versions of it. There's the one we played, and there's a sci-fi version. We can easily make a steampunk version out of whatever they have available out there.
Also, another question then. So, is character creation something else we would like to dive into in a more analytical and like actual like? I
can look into it. I have several role-playing books that are steampunk oriented that have different character creation things in there. I can look into. I never read them. I bought. Hey, this is steampunk not a LARP game. Steampunk role-playing game. Steampunk role-playing game. I have like several of them, and I've never actually looked at them about character creation on them.
I think those will give you great ideas for character archetypes and sort of roles. But I don't know that they'll get into how to create a character that's fun to play. Like what we've been talking about today. Yeah. What not to do. Don't be a dick. Be someone who has a reason to be outgoing or engage with other people. Start a run like that. I think those are skills that you have to develop, and that's all of what learning to LARP is. And I say that as someone who does not have those skills.
One place that I learned a lot about archetypes, and if you want to just like go and find out like how do you even want to have like the beginnings of your character, how he should act in situations, is TV tropes. Go look up a TV tropes, go look up archetypes, and you just start reading them. Mine, I came up with like, I can't even remember. I have to go back and look at it, but I had it written down. It's one of the bastards. Like there's a list of them. And so, yeah, I know. But like you have all the different arc heroes, arc myths, arc characters. It's all there in a very nicely set up with examples from TV and books and everything. So you can say, oh, okay, this is how I want my character to kind of play out. Like the classic paladin. Here are things that a classic paladin would and would not do. And so, and here are 3 examples from TV. And it's not just like, sword wielding. It's like actual TV people watch these days kind of example.
Oh, that guy's pretty much a paladin. Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially, like pretty much any FBI agent that is willing to stand up to good and do what it must be done is a paladin. Like the character, what's his name? The male FBI lead in freaking Raymond Reddington. He is a paladin, but as the show goes on, he's becoming more not so clean. He's becoming kind of a tarnished paladin. He's
Right.
willing to allow certain things to happen or go by for the greater good, even though it was against what he was initially thinking earlier. And so you start watching the degradation of him. I don't know. This has been the biggest thing for like, if you're a writer, if you're a storyteller, it's easy to like, I need 3 characters that act a certain way. Boop, boop, boop. All right, now I can make them personal. And I love it. I love reading these things. I get stuck on it, and I'm 3 hours later. I'm like, oh crap.
Well, Suko, he says my 2 characters are pirates, but one is a dim-witted pirate with a heart of gold. The other is a psychedelic pirate that's anti-authoritarian and pro-nature. Anti-coal. She's anti-coal in the steampunk world.
What is this?
We should be burning instead of ducks. I'm up for burning ducks instead of coal.
I'm up for psychedelics. What?
Burning the psychedelics. Mushrooms for power.
Well, if you're out of beer and ale, why not?
What is this Mickey Mouse sticker about? Whoa.
Mushrooms are combustible.
Yeah, you can burn mushrooms. Yeah. But oh wow, we have definitely digressed again, which is fine. We're having a great conversation. I'm loving this, but we are running out of time. We are well past the hour.
Yeah.
So we should probably go ahead and start wrapping things up. Any last words? At the moment, no. I guess I will pile my books, my steampunk RPG books up and take a look at them and see if there's anything of interest. And I'll tell you which ones I had. There's some. I found one at a half price bookstore that I never even heard of, but it looked interesting, and I bought it and put it on my shelf and never looked at it again. But that's just me with books. You know what I'm saying? And we also had the creator of the Terra. What's that one?
Yeah, that one.
My mind just went blank. Not Tesla.
Tefra.
Tefra. We had him on the very first season, like I don't know, really early on, talking about his creation.
And you interviewed him, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's probably still available in our backlog. First season, early. We talked to the creator of the Tefra RPG books game. You know, it's a game based on 12-sided dice. You know, so. And we had another one. I forgot what it was called. And we had at least 2 others.
Steve Metz had a steampunk LARP called Steampunk.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's the one where we were actually on the back cover of one of his books. Yeah, nice. Our picture is on the back cover of one of his books. So that's pretty cool.
So we should talk about this some more. We should talk about role playing, LARPing, and making good, effective characters.
Creating interesting characters that are fun to play.
Yes,
that's the important part.
So that's our homework for next week, I guess, or not next week, next week, 2 weeks.
Well, like I said, in 2 weeks is my birthday, so
we may not be doing it quite.
I'm willing to bet I'm going to be on. I'm not going anywhere, but I might be distracted or taken somewhere.
Have to do a special thing instead.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. I do like the idea of getting together and playing Fiasco. As like he asked, like we were asking if we were going to get together or not. I think I like the idea of just playing a game of Fiasco while the camera's going and just go just play. So
I'll read up on that thing, figure out how to play it.
Yeah, I don't have the book. I'll look into where the book is. Like I said, there's different versions of it now since we bought it, since we once played it. So we have to look and see which one we can adapt better to steampunk. I think there's a sci-fi version that we can adapt to steampunk just by changing the aesthetics.
I want to give special thanks out to Suko Sagi for bringing up this topic.
Thank you.
Getting us to talk about this. This has been great. And I want to say hi to Nasmo King, my friend who I met at the on the Steampunk cruise. I hear he's listening tonight, so that's cool.
Nice. Ooh. Well, I don't see him on the. He hasn't said anything. If he is listening,
but rumor has it that he might be listening.
Awesome. So that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you very much for listening. You can find us on Texas Steampunk Connection on Facebook. If you have any comments or questions or suggestions, hit us up there. And as I like to say, if you have any criticisms or negative remarks, just find us somewhere on Twitter. I don't know whether I'll see it.
Don't say that. Just say the thing.
All right. Yeah. Hit us up on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we know the inside joke.
Our complaint department is Twitter.
You wish to tweet at us.
We also have if you have like a longer form question or discussion, we do have a email address, Texas Steampunk Connection @gmail.com. So hit us up there if you have anything longer, or you want to send us anything, attachments or whatever. Don't forget, Jack he has Steam Chess. Go look him up and subscribe if you wish to get Steam Chess goodness at once a month at least. At last I heard, right? Yep,
still once a month.
All kinds of stuff, shirts, music, you name it.
Bobbles.
Tea, bubbles,
tea, awesome stuff. Apparently, I'm gonna have to re-put in my my currency again. People are enjoying the steampunk currencies that we've had in the past.
Nice. Also, I want to mention that I am in the beginning of producing another podcast. I had already produced a podcast in the past called Interstellar Sunrise. It was a scripted podcast, sci-fi. It was fun. I am now producing a new one written by the same author. If you want to listen to it, the old one, Interstellar Sunrise, you can find it at digitalrexfelix.com. That's where you can find a link. There's also another one called My Earthling and Me. It's a comedy written by the actors. It's really funny. It's what happens when an adolescent alien kidnaps a human for his school project, and hilarity ensues. The new one I'm starting to produce and is being written by the same author as Interstellar Sunrise will be steampunk adjacent, if not exactly straight up steampunk. The scripts are currently being written and the actors are currently being assigned or found or cast. That's the word I'm looking for. Cast. So unfortunately, that is some ways off before that will be available to listen to. But I just thought I'd mention that it is in the works, and also to point your way toward my other work, Interstellar Sunrise, written by J. Darius Mitchell. And if you like that, then you have something to look forward to for the new one. So, anything you want to add to that, Thax?
No.
Add to anything, Thax? Okay. All right. Well, then, thank you very much again for listening. Until next time, mind your gauges.
Thank you all.
Ending broadcast.